Hello, everyone. Glad to see you, so to speak. Welcome to the 107th Brooklyn Rail Wednesday afternoon poetry reading. We've got a terrific reading for you today, put together, curated by Ari Lisner, who has invited Delali, Ayivor, Anjali Emsellem, Elaine Khan, and Yanni to read along with Ari. I will introduce Ari in just a second. But I just want to say, this reading is actually called It's a Sign Online. So it's a partial extension of a series that Ari hosts offline, I think. And if you're new to these Rail readings, they happen every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. They're recorded, and the recording goes up on the Rails webpage and also on YouTube. So please feel free to check out the archive and circulate the link for this one once it gets up. If you pay attention to the chat, there will be information about all of the readers' various endeavors and publications that are happening and have happened, and also some information on the Brooklyn Rail. My name's Anselm Berrigan, and I edit the poetry section, and also help out with these readings, which are also part of the new social environment, which is not so new anymore, and that name might have to change too. Anyway, I always have to say one thing that I think is questionable in relation to the Rail. We were talking about jobs here, and this is a job. And it's always good to slightly subvert the thing you're doing, especially in public. Poet, journalist, and researcher Ari Lisner's writings capture queer intimacy against the backdrop of New York City. Their work has been featured in the Quarterless Review, Peach, Triangle House, Wonder, GQ, Allure, and others. One Shtick Pony, their first chapbook, is forthcoming with Bullshit Lit in 2023. Ari is also the co-founder of the poetry press Touch Me New World and the host of the reading series It's a Sign at KGB Bar, and Ari will be handling the intro duties from here on. Please welcome Ari Lisner.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks to the Rail. Thanks, Anselm, for doing this. Yeah, I'm super excited. And we were talking about this a little earlier, but this is smack dab in the middle of the workday. And I didn't prepare for this because my whole job is like doing client calls and like talking on Zoom all the time. So I feel very well prepared to do this. But I'm super excited to present our first poet. I think we're gonna have, let's see, I'm checking my order because we switched things around here. Yeah, so our first poet is Anjali Ensalem. Writer and cook Anjali Emsellem is from the Bay Area. Their writing moves through the physical seeming terrains of the emotional, ancestral, and relational landscapes. They were the co-founder of ATM magazine and currently live in Ridgewood, New York, which I should mention was voted like the coolest city or something like, or sorry, rather the coolest neighborhood. So you're already ahead of the trend, and I'll pass it off to you.
Thank you so much. That's funny. It's really nice to be here. Thank you, Ari, for putting this together. I am going to time myself because I'm reading short poems. It feels like so many of them, but they're short, so I never really know. Okay. Okay, so I guess I'll just start. The first one is called Emptiness Contact. At the beach, I'm impacted by this big emotional location. I haven't washed the sand out of my hair, parted, clipped up gender. I become so motivated against the office chair. I don't know the shadow of power when we walk on rotting plums in the night. A willingness to feel pain without a door is a brain. I have so much body to find. The sugar beneath the bruise, whoever's mocking my pleasure, the consciousness of a thank you. This next one is called Back to Basics. This world, nothing short of artificial, you replicate like gray-blue light, a mess of a sky. So clarity is no one's but the world, right? I fall on the knees of my mother, she laughs. What is this hologram of self? Is it blue? Does it tame me in the places I am see? I didn't know what it was like to speak before dreaming, where the other words went when they fell asleep with that music, that melatonin, those parts of my body. These next ones are untitled. Okay. If the flowers got quiet like language, would smoke be no longer hazy? Would it sit in our laps like felt to pull apart, holes in socks, the way I dream of growling dachshunds and I sink in the pool? Is it all so simple, too simple? A rock, a felt pocket, winter time, the lonely, kids and their reaching, men and their fucking, my morals dough. I cared about freedom and the preservation of the sweetest cherries all the way from some other country. You were all the way. We met, I loved you, and you were all the way over there. A miracle, a swamp. Okay. This one is also untitled. I felt called to read some like spooky poems today because I've like had like the scaries for like 3 days straight. So that just is some context for where am I right now. Okay. Under a shirt of dreams, there's a spine. I could float on forever thinking you are jazz or something, the locked pool of my own wanting. Another spine, time selves introduced to each other on the sidewalk in the fist of forgiving. Be here now is like some cash prize, no music in the bright and dirty bedroom. All right, I'm just gonna read one more. This one is called Family. I dedicate each poem to know, and what comes is evidence of what precedes. The same watercolored hands. We believe, work, play with nephews, massage the persimmons hanging from the curtain rod. I learned from my mother to turn towards an inside escape from the ticking nuclear, to avoid the word good. I say go to work, Anjali, and I do. Celestially concentrated like a kid, loyal to my parents' loud punishments. Last night, I dreamt of swimming with the child I say I will not have. It was through a lake of dried ginkgo leaves. What did the ancestors ask for on the knees of marriage? There is a life within this world. It was created and it is holding me. Compromise is artistry. I was a project too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, this is so cute. Our next poet is going to be Sarah Yanni. Poet Sarah Yanni has been recognized as a finalist for Bomb Magazine's poetry contest, Poetry Online's Launch Prize, and the Andres Montoya Letras Latinas Poetry Prize, and others. She's the manager of the Quarterless Review, which I can't recommend enough, as well as holding an MFA from CalArts. Sarah.
Thanks, Ari. Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Anjali, I loved all those poems. I'm going to put a link to, I like uploaded the poems into Drive in case people want to read along. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to read some poems. This first one is called Petaluma. Summer came to its soft end, as it does. a heat wave sweeping through grapevines, the asphalt road beneath our feet rising in temperature. We took walks late in the road, and the stars were so bright. The feeling of being far away, like telling real life to be patient. We'll return soon. I'm spending a week with the pine trees and the sheep, carried by bridges, eagerness bubbling like water, too powerful to cast aside. Hands in hair and knees touch. I do not need perfection. I need just to say you are safe here, and for you to believe it, and for the trees to keep growing, cradled in the season of change. This next poem is called Hard Crush. Here I am again, desire imposing its heavy weight. I'm falling backwards through water, sinking, arms extended upward, and I reach for what is least available to me. The more you push me away, the more I want you. We've had 2 conversations, and I'm doing the anxious thing again, imagining our bodies in the morning on the sun-kissed patio. I sit on your lap, bones flush with one another's. Hot coffee with cinnamon, brown sugar, which you'd eventually come to ask me for. Make it the way I like, and I obey always. I sink always. Imagine the continuous. That's optimism, thinking attachment can last, that it's good, real, reciprocated evenly, that it's not me crashing the cage of my heart through your life, that I'm not up every 2 hours of the night checking a screen for your name. Even when you're there, I wonder where you'll go. I wonder where you'll disappear to. And I give you hands, music, plates of food, grasping harder and harder like you'll evaporate at any given moment. Here I am again, hovering in potentiality. Remember when we walked at night to the bar in the alley, arms wrapped tight on flesh so warm, the elation of having a crush. Your presence matters, but so does mine. The imagined is so precarious, maybe my writer's head, wanting to craft story out of dust. I build worlds out of pleasure. I invite this chaos. I live for the panic of love. I fall asleep broken in an empty bed, but I dream of feeling madness just to feel it. This third one is I Am a Smart Girl, that Spectra Poets published this last month over the summer. I don't know what time is. Earlier this year. I'm a smart girl. With practice, the story is more clear, infinitely more precise. So many times I've told it. At first, meandering pockets of details I didn't know how to empty. But now my edits are sharp. I get straight to the point because really it's simple. What happened was I folded myself neatly like paper stacked into a clean pile, and one day the wind was too strong. It blew me eastbound, tore the sheets in half, but they landed softly on green. Still, how could I have been so encumbered? We are told that joy is foolish, pain is the condition of intelligence, so I thought myself the smartest of all girls. There's a thing in my stomach about this. I wish a lot of things, like for everyone to think I'm good. I used to be a lot of things too, and now I am good at building beds, taking the trash to the dumpster before it's filled, remembering to turn lights out when I leave, locking top and bottom, putting the duvet cover on, dabbing cool white cream beneath my eyes and not looking in the mirror, instead merely trusting that beauty is there, finding home in my cheeks. And this last one is very new and probably not done yet, but it's called Coming Out Poem in 7 parts. And then I learned yesterday was coming out day, so I'm like, okay, well, it's topical. And it starts with a epigraph from Muriel Lang. Even locked within the room, I poured out of it. 1. There are many kinds of beginnings. I'll take time and shift it, throw rocks at crafted plans, beneath the feet of family, close friends, waiting to light a fire in a story or the hollows of a chest. I decided, so my heart grew. I left, so it all changed. I lost so much. I faltered. I began. 2. I was to be wed, and somehow life felt decided for me, as the forces of girlhood were stronger than truth, the loud scandal shimmering within the deepest folds of my memories. I replicated my wants only in private, so for years I convinced myself, everyone, that I spoke the language of promise. One man and one woman, while the house is almost bought and we're planning on long sleeve for my dress of course with a veil. I swear I don't choose what's inside of me. I was never ready because you never were. So I plunged into the icy sheet of difference, marking myself all bloodied and red, changing the way you'd see me forever. 3. How was I supposed to know that the words I spoke could change everything? It is a Saturday morning. I am upright in a low-frame wooden bed. It is fall and my stomach is a pit. It is fall and I think I've fallen in love. New, not mine to have or keep, not the one whose bed I share. Shame drips on me like rain, torrential, a word that starts with G. I'm gasping as he shouts so many things. The black fan is thrown, hits the surface, shatters. 4. An incomplete list of what I lost. Rolling pin, pastry cutter, black foam yoga blocks, my ability to recall an entire summer, a folding tray I used for breakfasts as a child, the couch where I slept so many nights, my silver mixing bowls, the stability of home, an unbroken engagement ring, art prints my sister gave me on Christmas, the unflinching trust that you know a partner won't be violent, board games and string lights, spices yet unopened, mugs and flour, so many alternate selves, so many years of wishing, the sweetness in the way my parents looked at me, the way they carried me fully before it all began. 5. The last time I saw him, shiny glass vodka bottles spilling over mouths, the fury of change. I'm both wanted and threatened. You think you know someone. We had once built something precious, baby pink. I cannot count the words that will forever be unsaid. What is the language of apology? I spoke it then. I'm no longer fluent. He cannot hurt me if I do not let him. He has already taken all he can take. 6. Because behavior is conditioned, because I journey through grief and joy, because repair is slow and sometimes found in nights alone, the oven warm, a too expensive wine bought for one. Because in a way, no timeline is correct. It's been a year and still there are only ruptures and endings and beginnings. The narrative replicates until it doesn't, returning to myself until the self is something else, somehow wanting to be nothing at all, because to disappear is safe, but this cannot be sustained, because I claim space and that is important too, because breathing wholly is the queerest thing I do. I begin by writing, by making sense, sifting, begging shame to sabotage me on another day. In a way, I'm insisting on being soft because the body desires what it desires, and that is that. I can try to be polite about it. I want peace, not harm. I want to feel alive and for our words to mingle amicably, refusing would-be daughters, seeing only me. Because I surrender myself to a type of sweetness, because I am boundless. I must repeat this until it is so. 7. What I have learned. The truth waits for you unrelenting, like a creature patiently stalking its prey. I am grateful for the passage of time which clumsily stitches pain away. It is still there, but less, or it is still there, but different. Not remembering is a type of protection. Months and months, I find hope in my failing. I am formed anew, sculpted by candlelight in the soft folds of a sage green duvet. The first time I settle into knowing my own hands. The first time I say, I love you, and I mean it. Thanks, everybody. That's it.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And happy coming out day. Our next poet is someone who I'm so thrilled to have, especially considering that I consider her a mentor. Our next poet is Elaine Khan. Elaine is the author of Women in Public from City Lights 2015 and Romance or the End out on Soft Skull from 2020. Elaine's writing has appeared in the LA Times, Granta, Frieze, the Brooklyn Rail, and art papers. Elaine received an MFA from the Iowa Writers Workshop and has taught at UCLA, Pomona College, St. Mary's College, and the University of Iowa. She is also the founder of the Poetry Field School, which I also cannot recommend enough. I'll turn it over to Elaine.
Thanks, Ari. That's right, Anjali. I'm really happy to be reading today. These readings have been so good. The good news about hell. Suburbs are the perfect habitat for deer, Jesus said. They make the dumb tongues of men sing, their antlers branch until the leaves fall off and earth gives up its privates. I've heard that to reach enlightenment, all you have to do is touch the earth. God is lakes. I'm waiting for the storm to end in a styrofoam grotto at the Catholic Church on Tower Road. For some reason, God has imprinted us with a desire that's awakened within cave-like structures. I once held an injured bat. Intimacy is sharing something private, St. Jeremiah complained, but only after being ridiculed for an entire day. Dante and Virgil walked through rain to touch the future. My cats hide in the closet to avoid the vacuum. An exit does exist, but the ocean is more knowable than what comes next. I focus on the sound of water. All my friends are waiting for me to slip, laments St. Jeremiah. No wonder he was so ashamed of what he saw. Neon, loosening the night, like every reason is an unreason, like heaven is whatever, death that lasts forever. Do you know the love that eats? The love you eat from? It burns through you like the Lord himself. Self-legislation can be creative. I have arrived here for our stupid meeting. I have no precepts that I know of. I am trying to invent a way to look for something I once lost, my love, a series of unblinking numbers. Technology protects our death from shit and mystery. I'm pointing towards what these things lack. A world shifts out and into focus, reorganizing light, red bougainvillea, credits roll in absence, pleasure fills me in the past. It takes a lot of energy to lose touch of what is real. The stillness in my chest, a bending sequence. I will never stop writing the book. My private life is made out of my speech acts, I said. I walked here and I looked at every tree. One of 4 examples. We shoved each other's faces back and forth, gentle, like it's love if love were metrical in any way, not just a moment more ghastly than serene. Still, that summer was amazing. I did what I did, and it was what I wanted. Imagination is limited by one's encounters, but reality goes on and on. It wasn't always like this. Lost components turn a green screen green. I keep track of everything because the world is nonsense. Water squints, transformed just as it plunges. Congrats on being a person I remember. The opposite of pills, an oily hold uncovered. I never should have touched it. but I didn't care because the words felt good. Cool Hand Luke is a movie about having fun. The men wave their arms in labor. They have little to no excess fat. The sky is a flat paint bucket fill of blue. The men are in a circle. Sound drops away. The rules are a circle. Cool Hand Luke is a movie about the rebellion of jokes. Part 1, Warner Brothers logo. Light bulbs are a hole in the picture, a sterile idea. I don't have imagination, I just have eyes. I miss weather, but I am not in this poem. Cool Hand Luke is a movie about building community. One wants to win, the other wants to laugh and never be afraid of pain. Let the bosses suffer. No one can ever know death. Sun like a press into a hot eye. There is not an after. What's left just spreads out. Cool Hand Luke is a movie about having fun. And this will be the last one I read. To suffer forever in the smallest pigsty of illuminated growth. Everything drops like aspirin, spit thin into the mat, the maggots in the shower drain, I never saw them. I don't ever touch what's left and never look at you. The lights just glow like garbage presses, personal, dissatisfied, how I arouse the type. A mini skirt, a gallery, a caption, things about the ocean. Life is birthed from non-life, lies. A minor key, deleting years of pleasure, years of pain, a raincoat, cactus, moral rule, experiments in cerulean and white machines. And from the film, I wait for portioning to happen, for the cut to come across and reach me, life lengthening to non-life. Reality begins with the face. I pull apart your eye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Our final poet, other than myself, I suppose, is Delali Ayivor. Delali, I'm so happy to have you. Delali is a Ghanaian American poet writing for Black women and those who hope to love them. She is a 2011 U.S. presidential scholar in the arts and member of the second class of the forgive me, Black Rock Senegal residency. Her first book, She Is This, is a collection of essays written about and with the painter Audrey Gare and was published by King's Leap Editions in 2022. Delali, I'll turn it over to you. Oh no, you might be frozen. How's everybody else doing? Yes or no? Okay, you're on mute.
Okay, thank God.
You're good.
Okay, everything froze for a second. Now I'm back. Hi, everyone. Ari, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. This is the best lunch break ever. And I know that this is a poetry reading, but Mama's got a book to sell, and I don't believe in genre. So I'm actually going to start by reading the very beginning of She Is This, and then we'll switch into some poems, I swear. All right, so 1. It feels important that I share this with you. Audrey is small. I sent her a text a few months ago that said simply, I miss you, Tiny. She is the type of small that causes people almost uncontrollably to infantilize her like a child, or to sexualize her like a child, Being small like that implies a certain sense of transmutability. Bodies like hers have a haptic sense of potential energy, an implied continuous promise of transformation. I like to dress like a little boy on occasion, but I could never impersonate one convincingly like Audrey could. Smallness is a kind of switchiness that I don't have access to. When people comment on Audrey's size, she is generally good-natured about the attention. I like a version of the world where someone can react to that kind of interaction with gratitude for the ability to provoke delight, though I doubt I'll ever be that woman. I see that same nonchalance towards projection in the way that bodies are depicted in Audrey's paintings, never head on, always in part, in reflection, in pain. In Higher Path, for example, we see the form of a body, what looks like a little girl's in profile, or maybe from below. Mostly, we see the tops of people's heads. I have an intuitive understanding of the dissociative way bodies are depicted in this world. I cannot see myself, so often I do not look. The only face in the exhibition is that of a woman with the lace scrap rose featured in a work titled "Do You See Me?" Sighing against cascading patchworked neutrals, her pursed lips propose that she's watching something idly through a window or on a screen, daydreaming. In her notes on the works of this show, Audrey wrote of her, "As always, my girl is a bald mannequin, avatar. You can find so many images online of cartoonish females with no color or hair or clothes that are for people to download and dress up for their own use. She is this." Yeah, so go buy my book. It's really good. There's way more of that. And also Audrey has another solo show opening October 26th at King Sleep. If anyone wants to drop by, I will definitely be there. And then I'm gonna read y'all some poems. And these poems are all part of a lifelong, incredible journey that I'm on, examining my relationship to America through examining my relationship to white men. It's called Consideration, and she's spicy. We're gonna start with something funny. I forgot I wrote this poem and then I found it and I was like, lol. It's called "All My Poems Are Thirst Poems Forever, but Especially Now." In boarding school, I would write a horny poem about someone, then give it to them, or read it aloud in a room with them, watch them receive me. One of many things never done with my shitty ex. He refused to fuck me. I was a virgin then, and his withholding of things I could not know was unspeakable. He is how I discover I like to be watched. I'd call him voyeur to his face, and he'd flush unlaughingly. I joked about manually stimulating his prostate, making him come instantly. He said he didn't want to, with genuine fear. Nothing made me burn like his denial. I imagined his cupped fingers, a ladle to gather me. He twitched, phantom, in his sleep like a dog. Oh, okay, cool. That's the end of that one. And then I'm gonna read 2 erasure poems that I've been working on. So as part of this crazy fun project, a crazy fun thing that I'm doing is I downloaded all of my Facebook Messenger data and I've been rereading every Facebook message I ever sent or received, which is a wild ride that I would recommend for any and everyone if you want to learn anything about yourself or everything about yourself. And I've been taking excerpts from my Facebook Messenger archive and using them to write erasure poems, cataloging and classifying conversations, and then using those conversations as raw material for other writing projects. So I'm going to share 2 erasure poems with you. The first is called "DM from a White Boy" as an entry from a colonial explorer's journal. So this was a Facebook message that was originally sent to me July 10th, 2010 at 2:05 a.m. Oh God, the good I know, the locals who know dark. I'm hoping for being. I defer to Christ's sakes, the stars for me, and white would find that way. And then my last little baby is also an erasure. This message was originally sent June 13th, 2016 at 12:59 p.m. And it exists now in a folder on my computer called White Women Ask Me How Not to Be Racist, with other snippets of conversations where white women ask me not to be racist, how not to be racist. It's called I Unsubstantial. Nothing happened between reflecting and consequences. The whole imploded and the implications defend her. And I contributed. I unsubstantial. Basically, critically, I intensely trust your sense of judgment. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Delali. It's really nice to laugh at poetry every once in a while. And yeah, also we're doing amazing on time. So thank you for that. I'll leave it open probably at the end after I read a couple of quick poems of my own for anyone to plug anything that they have going on, readings and stuff. It's something that I've just been noticing people do at readings, and I'd love to do that. So if you have anything you'd like to plug at the end, definitely stick around. But first of all, before I go into my own poems, thank you to the Rail again. This has been just such a cool space to break up the day and just like invoke poetry, in days that might not have it, even though maybe you could argue that every day has poetry. But I have a couple of poems coming out actually next issue, probably in the Rail. So I wanted to read maybe one or two of those. And then one really weird one that is in kind of construction mode. But this first one is a finished product of this summer, probably the worst summer of my life. So I would love to just read that. This one is called Summer. Actually, hold on one second. I'm going to share my screen. I think like the idea of following along is really so lovely. So if everyone can see my screen, this is the poem. Yeah. Cool. Summer. Fat, ugly pigeons near the West 4th Street movie theater love extending their whole heads. They latch onto crust with their beaks and flail it about, whirling a full 360 in their faggotry. I watch and I miss you, inhaling the pizza of others. Similarly migratory, the ice cream trucks of Bushwick play their song nonstop for at least 3 months in heat. The only way out of it is through. Mr. Softy, fated to his insuldom, is damned and unkissed. Your fan is pulling bad spirits into your room, convincing you to delete and remake, which you start to, but I took you on, stoned, pointing up at the ceiling, telling the boys that the chandelier is so clear, a girl, sad with her hair hanging down limp. You play the summer like truth or dare, and I ask, are you crying because it's a dead dog in the street, or your dead dog in the street? Your dog. I slap you across the face. I get better each time. I forgot to flip the calendar. June hung for all of July. Then, when a mouse door appears at the foot of a brick wall, unwilled, love. It has a physics learned only after it unfurls. The heirloom tomato I handed you at peak was my heart. Yours now on the bus home. It's red against city blues and cautionary yellows. I'm ingesting the rainbow, downing Lucky Charms on a night astrologically best for manifesting, hoping for compounding effect. The drier sheetbox copy demands, surround yourself with softness, but remember the desert, remember top of the world. Now I can't look at the cacti. So I run inside a human washing machine to techno in Mexico City in lieu of a classic rock boyhood, For all I say, I want an armchair, a fireplace, a big mug. My footing was fucked. Someone had to teach me the two-step. I'm riding in a van called Tus Sueños, your dreams. Dreams you were having in snow piles and with all your bones gone. Air conditioning runs at constant during a city heat wave. Idiot. All chill is false. All right. Let's try this one. This poem is after one of my absolute favorites, New York Address by Linda Gregg. Also, if anyone's noticed, I'm wearing a Lady Gaga t-shirt. And last night at a different poetry reading, someone was like, when you're reading, you're supposed to, it's like a singing thing. You're supposed to like put your hand like here, like to like make sure that your speech is like measured or whatever. So it's really funny that I get to like put my hand on Lady Gaga as I'm reading my own poetry. Anyway, Return to Sender after New York Address by Linda Gregg. My engineering had failed. I was the same character I had always been, so I started answering the questions regardless of consequence. Yes, I love love. Yes, I am a salesman of it. There is an unstoppable force and an immovable object. We decide upon their physics and cry on the couch. Something is built in negligence of our day to day because I'm obsessed with your cheeks. I know you do not adore the science. So when you say, show me an unwild guess, the only thing it could be is love. But look, you have to look at the world hard, find 3 moves it made, decide if you love what they did. All right, I have like 1 or 2 more. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen only because like this one's weird and I feel like I read it differently every time, so I want a little wiggle room. This one is called Saint. It became Christmas when we disagreed on the color of the club light, which I recalled red and you green. So fuck it. I will call you Saint. You danced with me to techno in search for miracles that night. It might be associated with us. You commit to salvaging killed air and saving sheep in appreciation of beloved problems. All right, I have 1 more, and this one is something I like to refer to as like spaghetti at the wall, where I just like kind of put together all my phone notes, sort of digging for a story. So this one is sort of in the construction zone, where I don't really know where it's going just yet, but I like sort of reading things and watching them unfold over time. I have a poem called End of August, which I vowed never to read in public again. So this one is Start of September. Start of September. Lesbians love, aquamarine, romance, and the end joke. I'm moving at the speed of trust to see how much I can get away with. There's no bragging about a mitzvah. That way, the day fails. Sex compounds with interest. In the other realm, you would be gone forever, but I wanted you to see me in the theater, desperate for collective opinion. I've decided that my eyes tell a story and that the other trans people in the room's eyes are buggy and hollow, undecided. I'm 1 day off the podium, pea brain, mystery meat. Things have to be funny in the summer with the promise of flight. Otherwise, you're fucked, sipping beer through a straw. Everything is breaking my heart in the fashion of humorless folk songs, writing in response, always in Renaissance. Each night I reset. I'm licking my wounds up on the balcony, and I'm ashamed I haven't written anything. The heat rises, my guilt comes in waves, a sugar pill strategy, a faggot with a clacky fan, forgetting so much love. Nothing will change for me on a rooftop. I missed the end of August and jumped right into September, the direct output of New York. I ingest the culture, nod to church, always for the story, car outside, free parking all day for the holiday. Come out of nowhere, freaky, alone, with the flavor of indie. the onset of birds. It's September 1st. It's straight up blue hour, and Bushwick feels like France. I hear no birds, and I'm forgetting your laugh. I'm swaying like a Jew in front of you. I'd been lazy and not leaning forward. Thank you so much to everyone who read and to the Rail. This is so cool and beautifully on time. I definitely would love to open it up and see if anyone has anything they'd like to plug, anything going on in New York, LA, anywhere else. Delali, if you want to speak one more time just about the King's Leap thing, I'd love to hear it again.
Yeah, just that my book, She Is This, is now available from King's Leap Editions. It's a really wonderful series of essays that I wrote about the work of my friend Audrey Gare, who is a really incredible painter. And she has a new solo show of all new work opening on October 26th at King's Leap, which is in Chinatown, right off the East Broadway F-stop. And it's going to be amazing. It's 2 whole floors full of Audrey, which is my personal fantasy. And now it can be yours too. I could not recommend it enough. And the book is the hardest I have ever worked on a piece of writing. I actually revised things, which is not a thing I do. So it's good. It's tight. It's a journey. You'll learn a lot about me. You'll learn a lot about her. You'll think things about art. That's all I got.
Thank you. And I should mention that I am reading in person if anyone is in Brooklyn on Friday night. It is at a house. It's on 511 Graham. You can follow me on Instagram. I'll be like reposting the flyer and such. And then also a handful of friends and I will be reading also on the 17th at a bar called Berlin. I believe Riley Mack is reading, Matt Starr, and some other folks. So yeah, I hope to see you there if you're in Brooklyn.
Just quickly plugging next month, Ari and I are hosting a reading in LA on the 20th at Stories. And I'm hosting another reading with another New York poet who's going to be in town earlier November 6th with Lily Lady. So also at Stories. So LA folks, come to those.
Oh, apologies. I didn't realize that folks who are not hosting or participating as readers are not able to unmute themselves. So if anyone wants to like raise their hand, please do, or speak up in the chat and we'll unmute you.
I think Ty needs to plug something.
Please do.
Hey. Tomorrow, the Rail is at Miguel Brew Gallery with Carolyn, who's right there, and Jalen Strong and Portland Houghton Harjo, and Noah Mendoza, who are all true heroes. It's a kids party because Miguel's out of town, Fong's out of town, so we're running it up. There will be chairs and beers, and then on Friday I'm at Woodbine Hub in Ridgewood, and on Monday I'm at Honey's. So that's my weekend, y'all. Ari, love it.
All right. Well, if no one's got anything else, I guess we can kind of wrap up a little early. Anselm, was there anything else you wanted to chime in with?
Yeah, let's see. Delali, I agree with you. Well, I don't know if this is what you were thinking, but revision is definitely the most overrated aspect of writing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ty, I'll be at Honey's on Monday, is a phrase that you can use probably in all kinds of situations, and I hope to hear it in the future in multiple contexts. And I just want to thank you, Ari and Delali and Anjali, Elaine, and Sarah for reading today. You could all have read more. That's not a scold. It was just a pleasure. It's always better to be late, in my opinion, than early or something. And thanks so much, everybody. And now let's do the thing where we throw the mic open and everyone can say hello and goodbye as we go off into the rest of the day.
Cool. Later. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
That
Bye,
was great.
everyone.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining today.
See y'all later.
See you later.
Anthem.
Bye, Anselm.